Pounders, welcome back. Episode 6 of The Big Board. And today we're just going to start off with a little look back into last year's dead zone. We hit the nail on the head here. Especially right after the draft, when you have that information, you can start to differentiate these guys and what their expected value should be. Top 6 from this group last season. Remember this dead zone from like 79 to Madison down here, sneaking down here at 103. We were still fading him at this point. Right or wrong, end up being right. Rashad White survived the draft. So you just have to and really quickly identify. That's when you're going to get the best values on these guys is with more information. And when other people don't have that information, that's good. But a lot what you're going to see is people overreacting to news as well. So right after the draft, and what I kind of specialize in is projecting where they should go, where their ADP should land. So if you are reaching up to get them, is their ADP going to settle after that? You know, you don't want to be reaching on these guys. So you want some pretty good projections there. So White, Mixon, Connor, Williams, we knew there was maybe some upside if he could return and get healthy. He just really never got there. Even at the end of the season, he wasn't looking great. Now maybe with P. Ryan not returning, the backup is actually pretty good value in like the 15th round right now. But James Cook and AJ Dillon, he was just safe. He didn't hit. He had Aaron Jones get hurt. Like he was fine. He was serviceable. It was kind of gross though for him. But he was a safe pick. And I think that's what was kind of polarizing in this range was sort of avoiding the Penny, the Madison. Herbert went too early. In Charbonnet. We were AJ Dillon over Charbonnet. I think that was largely correct. But if you guys are just joining us, go down, slap the like on the live stream, join the pound, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,200 is the new goal. And a quick little promo. This year's draft guide. This is the third round. Released this about a week ago to the Pounders Plus on Patreon. Any Patreon tier actually gets the draft guide, so release it to everyone. Just want to say, some of these ADPs, we did really good on most of them. So Devonta Smith moves up to pick 35.7. James Cook falls to pick 42. Keenan Allen goes up about 4 spots, ranked in the green to 35. Mahomes down 6 spots to 46.5. Waddle up to 36.8. T. Higgs, 43.7. So a small fall there. And I sort of expected Devonta Smith to rise anyways because you're going to have Rashad White, who probably belongs in the back end of this group near Kenneth Walker, and he still has a little bit of room to go. Malik Neighbors, we rank green, and he's up to like 34. That's a huge mover right now, 34.7. Mari Cooper in the green, and he's at 47. I still sort of like this range for Mari Cooper, though. Travis Kelce's at 47.5 now. Cooper Kupp's up, and Kenneth Walker's around the same. And then you have Drake London at pick 42. So big movement from Drake London. So we are pretty good at projecting these risers and fallers, and that's all going to come in the draft guide, along with 6 pages, the first 6 rounds of player write-ups, and then we're ranking players 18 rounds deep. And we update the guide every 25% of contest fill. So we really try to keep up with the news, the changing ADPs, all of that. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, we'll be jumping into the big board. I have not got a CeeDee Lamb share yet. I've done 22 of these. I can't get the 2 spot. And when I'm at 3 or 4, Lamb doesn't fall. I have 0 shares of Lamb, and I have 1 CMC. So this is no surprise. I can't break the curse. I think I have to delete the app. I think maybe Underdog made a mistake and actually gave Frank the 101 here. Jared here in the 4 spot. We got Logan here at 11 and Ben in the 7. This is a Pounders draft for sure. So this will be a fun one. And multiple people have the draft guide. 1, 2, It's always tougher to play against people when they know your cards. Logan has it. I don't think Ben has it, but this should be a fun one nonetheless. Okay, let's pull this up. How we doing tonight, fellas, ladies, and gentlemen? You get into the overflow is usually a tougher room. Should Dead Zone be old age zone this year? Yes, 100%. Half these guys will be playing with the cane halfway through the year. Shout out to Noah in these streets. What's going on, my man? Yeah, we released the draft guide last year for free. We updated it a crap ton. This goes all the way through BBM 5 as well. So we'll be updating it the whole way through. CD Lamb at 2, CMC at 1, pretty standard. Yeah, we're used to drafting back here, so it's not a problem at all. I'm very comfortable anywhere from 9 to 12. It's just it's where I've been living. It's the zone I've been living in. Right now, the one spot feels really good where um you can get digs to fall back to you, and right now, I think the only reason his ADP's 24.5 is because of the uncertainty. I think it's this note that's really holding him back. It's hard to see a path of him leaving Buffalo. Really is. So if he stays in Buffalo, if we have that news that he stays, like you're clearly putting him above Barkley. You're probably putting him above Ayuk. You're probably putting him above Debo. If you want to keep Rice there, that's fine. But I think he would easily jump this group. And that'd put him in the second round. Right now, you can get him as a third round faller. So I've been trying to get some dig shares before we get that news. And again, that's just a projection. Maybe he ends up in God knows. I don't I think he's gonna end up in Buffalo. The books have him at like minus 250 to remain in Buffalo too, so the odds are there. Not that the books helped us last year with CJ Stroud at 1. Okay, so we're gonna get Gibbs here at 11. We could go RB, but I've been mixing in some more DJ Moore. Someone I'm trying to get a couple more shares of after sort of early fading. But I do have him ranked above Nico, especially if we're expecting a little upgrade at QB potentially. And I mean, he had a pretty good year under Fields, anyways. Vape jumping in the little board. So the little board's going to be what? 20 max, $3 entry, 15K to first. Really fun one for people that are new to Bestball. Great little contest. I've been sneaking in slows for the little board. Marvin Harrison goes at 15 with AJ Brown. Logan brings in Garrett Wilson and Achane. I like this start. I like this start a lot. Bijan and Kyron, probably just be a little different, but I do see Kyron falling in more rooms. Sam Laporta at 16. That's like a full round. I don't know. You're gonna have teams with Puka at like 6 or 7 and getting Sam Laporta here in the third. So we'll see what he does with this pick. I'm okay with it if he targets like 3 people in this same Laporta range, because that's the way you sort of get different. What do we have for a fill rate right now? We're looking at 11%. So the next update to the guide will be coming in roughly 15%. Rashi Rice goes at 19 with Justin Jefferson. I don't mind what Jared did here at all. Like Chase over Hill and Jefferson. If we can sort of just attribute Cincy's slow start and Burrow's slow start to that preseason injury, you can easily put Chase over JJ and Hill this year. Hill played like an average of like around 70% of snaps. He's getting older. He's just fast as fuck. So he's always injuring that hamstring, in and out of games. And maybe they sort of manage some of his snap count. But if we can attribute that early injury to some of their early season woes, it's not crazy to put Chase ahead of Hill and Jefferson, where we have a big question mark at QB. So I don't mind what Jared did there. Ben is in these streets. Welcome to the live stream, my man. Logan, by the way, thank you for joining the Spoon Club. Get the spoons out. Let's go. Got to scoop. Got to scoop. Yeah, Chase at the 101 was a thing last year. A big week 17 take. Olave, Rice, and Jefferson. It's a fun start. Man, people woke up pissing today. CMC, Diggs, and Adams. God damn, bro. Like that's a mean start. That's an absolute mean start. Sure, the receiver's getting a little old, but you can always bring in some young talent after that start too. It's a really nice base. I think we can all sort of admit that Diggs may have lost a step. You gonna rank him behind Tank Dell? I just don't think there's that much movement for Diggs to fall. I like the Jalen Waddle click. This range kind of blows, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We can just go Flowers and Lamar. We can go let's go Hurts and Smith here. Let's bring Hurts and Smith. We'll see how this pans out. The biggest negative to taking a QB in this range, like this is a great place to bring in Hurts. This is a great place to bring in Lamar, especially because of the price on Josh Allen being around pick 18. You're getting a nice 18 pick discount on these guys, which I love. But you're losing out on a skill position player. Now, I don't have anyone in this range that I'm like, yeah, I need this guy. It's not going to be Pacheco. It's not going to be Rashad White. It's not going to be James Cook. It's not really going to be Cooper Kupp. So, yeah, I don't mind bringing in Jalen Hurts in this spot. If Waddle's there, it's very clearly Waddle for me. Kupp goes. Pacheco goes for wide receiver start for Zags. So true. So true. Josh says, I don't think Diggs has lost a step. He's a good click and offers a nice floor. Yeah. Yeah. Remember this, that 2-3 turn with like Derrick Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard was sort of in that range too. He was actually like even more expensive. So gross. And Stevenson, I was a little heavy on Stevenson. I was around 11%, and that whole team just fell apart. The whole team just fell apart. Now where Stevenson goes, I think he's kind of separating himself too in this range at 72. It's just hard to know what this team's going to do. We'll see if Zeke returns. I have a feeling he won't, which would end up being good for Stevenson. And of course, he ran into injuries as well. But I do like Stevenson over a good amount of these people in this range. Yeah. I mean, Adams was sort of underrated last year, and he got it done week 17. I mean, he has that single game ceiling that can burn you. Our Dalmatian pod, the finals were 40 teams, and we had the Amon-Ra CD stack. We had Dak, Jake Ferg. Like, it was well-stacked team, but what got there was actually the less chalky start with CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams outscores Amon-Ra, and we had 2 teams that would have in that pod that would have finished top 5 in BBM 4, which is kind of annoying, but sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Kelsey goes at 48. His team's P-Punch is literally punching the air right now. Has to be punching the air. Doesn't have Rice, doesn't have Kelsey. I don't know if I think I'm just kind of avoiding Kelsey, to be honest. And we saw Mahomes. I mean, he's coming off the board as QB4 right now. He finished the year as QB8 in points. He finished the year as QB10 or 12 in points per game. Get Flacco up there with like at like QB3 or 4 points per game. Now, if he loses Kelsey, hard to picture him finishing better than QB5, to be honest. But the price is nice. I mean, the CJ Stroud price is expensive. You're gonna see A-Rich eventually pass him, I believe, which we said last week on Open as well. These QBs, just extreme values, but they go in this kind of value tight end range too, but seems to be a great range for QBs and tight ends. Even running backs, you can find some needles in the haystack here. And then this range of QBs, just this is like the value range in my opinion. Jaden Daniels, the unknown. All right, Mark Andrews off the board at 53, right before the Lamar team. Oh man, this room's just causing a maximum amount of pain to their neighbors. You got to be a good draft neighbor, you know? You have to be a good draft neighbor. Terry McLaurin. Drake May goes very late. Yeah, he's a good. Where would you like to see Drake May end up, Steph? Where would I rank JSN in this wide receiver class? It's a good question. We'll see if Lockett leaves Seattle. This is too rich. I mean, like, I'm not going to have a lot of JSN and pick 62. It's a tough price point. It's a tough price point, especially because there are other players I like in this range. Aaron Jones goes off the board at 57. He's a number one target for me in this range. This is where it gets ugly too, man. Go Pickens in our first tight end. We'll bring in a spike week guy in Pickens. Knew it was gonna be a tougher room with the Pounders in this one, but we'll go tight end here. We have a very balanced start. Can't go wrong. We'll keep it balanced, especially we're not picking for another 22 picks. Like we don't really know what's going to come back to us, but I do like the Ridley, Aaron Jones. I have over 30% and he's been climbing. Let's see where Aaron Jones started. Pull this up. Let's see. Aaron Jones was at pick 67 just about a week ago. And his ADP is 65. So it hasn't actually moved that much. I want to say it's because there's so many options in this range and people are probably spreading their exposure to this range. But this literally reminds me of this range last year. So tightly packed at running back. And people are just kind of spreading their exposure where I'm just trying to pick out a few of these guys that I really think are going to hit and then leveraging the other side of the plays that I'm fading. Spears off the board 67. Do you guys think Spears can be a 3-down back? If Henry leaves, which this ADP is already baking that in, is he going to be worth this pick? And then NFL draft, if they release Henry, are they going to bring someone in? And obviously it's not the strongest class for running backs, but I'm sure there's still a need to bring someone else in, I would think. George Kittle off the board at 70. A little Kittle slide, huh? Little Kittle slide. Kittle's still going to have a high single game ceiling. Yeah, Crane's ahead on Aaron Jones. Like, I have Aaron Jones ranked aggressive, very aggressively. B. Kurt, welcome to the live stream, my man. Don't think he has the size to do that. No. Yeah, on Tajay. Yes, you do. Steph thinks he's pricey. I agree with that. I agree with that. But you can tell, like, the field is very split on some of these running backs that go in this range. And that's what's sort of keeping them in this range. Stevenson off the board at 72. Didn't think he was going to come back to us at 84. That'd be a gift. But I do like RBs in this range. Like, this is a fine range to touch on running back. After here, I really do think there's a tier break in between Brian Robinson and the next best RB available. Like, if that's the case and these RBs are all gone, I just go to tight end or QB in this range, usually. So we'll see what comes back to us. We can also get Goddard. Can we get him at 108? That'd be right at ADP. So if we don't go tight end here, we can sort of plan or hope that Goddard falls back to us. This team has 2 tight ends. This team doesn't have one yet. We'll see. It would help if some of these teams on the back end start selecting tight ends because is someone going to reach for Goddard at like 102? Like, probably not. So it's just something to keep an eye on here. Pollard. We're not going to know. We're not going to know. Honestly, let's go QB. I know, like, Justin Fields probably not going to be in Chicago, and that's fine. Not doing it for that reason. Kyler Murray's fine here too. Let's go Justin Fields and let's go James Conner. Some people would bring maybe James Conner and Kyler in there too, and that's fine. And then maybe we can target like a Michael Wilson. I'd be okay with that too. But in my rankings, I'm just gonna have Fields ahead of Kyler, so it's kind of tough when Fields is there to pass on that. Fun little start. Fun little start. I just don't think it's worth reaching up for one of these wide receivers. I think the CWAP price is fair, just based on like if he's healthy, he can provide a pretty good ceiling. It's just, man, it feels like Mike Williams in a way. Feels like Mike Williams in a way. You know he's gonna miss time. And he came into last season not healthy. That's a scare. So we're up in 18 picks. So around pick 108, 109. Again, another good range for QBs. We're probably going to stop it too. And we'll just take the risk that we don't share a bye week. We can bring in a late QB. That's fine too with these, but we really need to catch up at receiver. That's what we're going to do, I think. Receiver, or we can even go wide receiver, running back, or tight end. Goddard's probably going to be one of our targets as well. We'll get this double stack in Philly. We'll see what comes back to us. I'm letting nothing fall back to you after the Kincaid snipe. Get out of here, man. If you wanted Kincaid, should have gone Kincaid at 55. There's no way he was falling back to you. Dude, I'm just noticing this. Evan Ingram went at 64. Dude, steam him up. Steam him up. That's fine. Go Goddard. We'll zig and zag. Raheem Mostert. Dude, Javante over Raheem Mostert. That's bold. That's bold. I won't be doing that too much this year. And I'm not even overly high on Mostert this season, but player versus player. Kind of tough to not click on the guy that scored what 20 something touchdowns, 21 tutties, 5 yards per kick. Uh, Jared Goff off the board at 99. The value QBs right here. The value QBs. All right, let's see what King of Kings is doing. CMC, Diggs, Devontae Adams, Kelsey, White, Stevenson, Godwin, Brock Purdy. Oh, I like this team. Sutton pick's not my fave, but I like this team nonetheless. This is where White kind of belongs. Is after this group of wide receivers is gone. I think this is a good range for him. I think this is where he'll settle out too, around pick 48 to 50, 51. Myers is definitely my go-to click in this range for receivers. Myers, Deontay Johnson's fine. If we assume this offense isn't going to be complete dog water next season, which it's hard to get worse. All right, Logan. Cause the pain. I'm ready. I'm ready to endure the pain. No. All right, fine. Fine. We'll take I like Franklin, but we'll go Coleman and Goddard here. Damn, bro. Nice. Good pick. Good pick. I like both these rookies over players like Marquise Brown. The dart throws. Dart throws. We'll see where they end up. Both have fun tapes though. So we can stop here probably at 2 tight ends, but in a 20-round draft, like in 18-round draft, we're stopping here all day long as long as they whatever with the bye week. But in 20-round drafts, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the team looks. If we don't have an absolute position of need and it's just so like an extra pick, we can bring in a third tight end with this group. Don't have to, but it could be a luxury pick at the end of the draft. Caleb off, Staffy off the board at 112. That seems like yeah. This dude's just getting his players though, right? Yeah, Ingram. This dude's just getting his players. And none of that includes wide receivers. I got rich quickly. I've seen his name a lot in dailies. I don't know if he has to know if he has to start 3 wide receivers. He's got 2 receivers through 10 rounds. Dude must have some absolute sleeps in his pocket. Little does he know the Pounders have some sleeps. Logan says, so the big thing with Spears is that he did tear his right ACL twice. Yeah, dude's got no ACLs. Dude, this is big news from Nick. This is his number 1 owned player last year in pick, whatever, 150, 155. His number 1 exposed player, he will now have 0 shares of. Achane will take his job. If I can do the 0 share thing, though. I don't know if I can do the 0 share thing. We have to presume that Achane stays healthy the whole season, which I don't know if he'll do. Here's a fun question. Who's the second best running back in AFC West? Answer the man. Answer the man. Dude, I saw Mostert the other day at bingo night when I was picking up my grandma. Man. Granny definitely won bingo. Like all my money's going on grandma. She probably got up to the stage faster too. Because if 2 people have bingo at the same time, it's whoever gets up there faster. Al, welcome to the live stream. Says I have 10 shares of Mostert. How many drafts are you in? Even Jared says that's wild. 0 shares is bold. I agree. That is a bold stance. There's no way we get our guy at 132, right? There's just too many people. There's too many people. Let's see. I like the Rashawn click. I've seen Frank. Frank's got to have 30% plus Rashawn. Has to. Has to. Jerome Ford, fun little piece to build with rookies if you presume that Nick Chubb is going to miss time early in the season. Fun little piece where you can build, bring in 3 rookie running backs, which you might not want to do, but 0 RB type builds. Jerome Ford's a nice piece. Oh, yeah. These RBs are flying. Who do we want to come back to us? Tyler Lockett off the board at 128. Shaheed off the board at 129. It's getting thin. It's getting thin. We'll see what Logan does here at 131. Jonathan Brooks gone. Okay, brings in the rookie. We'll reach up and get our guy. It's either back to back. I don't love this range for receivers, but Gabe Davis should be in the conversation. I like Worthy in this spot. McConkey's fine too. Definitely a pounder favorite. I like some of these guys a little better that go later. Our wide receivers, we're probably gonna spend this luxury pick at receiver. We'll see. We'll bring in Kendra here, and we're probably gonna bring in just Gabe Davis. We'll see what happens with Gabe. Pick 133. I don't even really expect him to be like a wide receiver 2 on a team. Like I think he just proved himself in Buffalo that he can't be a wide receiver 2 on a team, but you don't really need him to be a wide receiver 2 on a team. He is going to be around like 50 picks cheaper, 60 picks cheaper this year too. If he still can provide some spike weeks, I think it makes sense for a squad that needs a receiver. Obviously, you're not going to be depending on him weekly. He's not going to be like a floor guy, but we'll see. He'll definitely be team dependent on where he lands. It's just tough if we don't go receiver there. Really, I'm between like Michael Wilson and Gabe Davis. Those 2 rookies are fine. We already have 1 rookie here. I don't hate bringing in 2 this early, but I have a ton of Xavier Worthy. I have a ton of these guys, so we'll mix it up with Gabe. Fun little start. Worthy off the board, Quentin Johnson off the board, Ladd, Kirk, Deshaun. This team gets his second QB, brings it in with Amari Cooper, Luke. What's everyone's thoughts on like Kraft being drafted like so early as a tight end 2 on a team? Just curious. 'Cause I don't think I'm not really mixing in Kraft here at 181. Is that wrong or I'm trying to figure out that ADP? It doesn't make sense to me. Let me pull up the splits between these guys. So to start the year, before the Musgrave injury, Musgrave was playing around 75%. So you can kind of see this curve here. Let's pull this up here. 75% to 22% snap, 4%, 88. So like it was heavily Musgrave. And then it looks like Tucker Craft may have earned some more shares. Then the injury happens, and then it looks like Musgrave was probably still injured when he returned. But for the playoffs. I don't know. Yeah, Musgrave over Kraft. Kraft way overpriced. He's got potential if they cut Williams, but I think he's still risky with what we saw last year. Not taking Kraft, but you do like him. That's the dynasty in Steph talking. That's the dynasty in Steph talking. If you guys haven't already, you just join us, go down, slap the like on the live stream. Help us get to our next goal of 1,200 subs. Damn, Pat Fry, 149. The discount on Pat Fry this year. I'm going to have a decent amount of Pat Fry at this price. And Mayer, both of these guys. And I think I'm hanging it up finally on Waller. I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to hurt anymore. I think I'm done with Waller. But after those guys go off the board, I do think you have a little tier break. Sure, you can mix in Likely. Juwan Johnson maybe benefits from Graham. Jimmy Graham, please hang it up finally. Oh? 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 Let the man do it? We know you want that tight end. We'll flash it. We'll flash the pick. We'll flash the pick. Fuck. It doesn't work. All right, this is fine. And Algier's fine. This is good. Wandale, dog. Wandale, dog. Algier, I mean, sure, they're going to come in. They're going to use Bijan. They're going to use him a shit ton. And I think they should. Algier should still have a role. 6 to 8 touches a game, which is fine. Change of pace type back, serviceable. And then he has the contingent upside if Bijan goes down. It's not a team that I expect to touch at running back in free agency or the draft. So he should be a safe RB2. We have some certainty behind the pick. He's at pick 157. Think about where we're going with Elijah Mitchell last year. He's getting picked at like 125. I don't know. I'm going to have a lot of Algier in this range too. I had a lot of Algier last year, and he ended up being a tremendous value in those, especially those 0 RB type builds. And obviously, they don't hit their ceiling unless an injury happens. But that's the case for a lot of the players in this range. And they have more uncertainty than Algier does, in my opinion. Hurts, Fields, Gibbs, Connor, Miller, Algier. Maybe we have a little correlation. Maybe we get Justin Fields to go to Atlanta. That's the stack you need. That's the stack you need. Allison, I knocked Chess Liam out of a playoff draft. Woohoo. Is this playoff best ball or playoffs like week 15, 16, 17? Oh, man. Nick wanted the DeMario Douglas pick so bad. He wanted it so bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disappoint you. Wandale, dog. Dude, you're a Giants fan, man. You're a Giants fan. Are you going to have any Wandale? You loved DeMario last year, too. You loved him last year. If you want a DeMario Douglas type player for free, just go Malik Washington, right? It's kind of the way I see it. I think the Patriots need a touch at wide receiver. Like, I find it really hard to believe they don't bring in and draft someone. Team with plenty of money, so they could spend it at QB. Probably they need help, man. O-line, QB, receiver, defense is good. Defense is good. That's what's scary though, because that means if they bring in a shit QB or if they even stay with Jones for another year and try to tank, like their defense is going to win them games. and that's annoying. It's they can't do a full tank. So it's this year or nothing, in my opinion, for the future of that squad. Douglas goes at 165 to Jared, so a pounder does scoop him. One for the good guys. Frank bringing in 3 rookies in a row with Drake May, Lloyd, and Devontae Walker, who was on Nick's and I's rookie list. Juwan Johnson off the board. Zay Jones off the board to the T-Law team. Sanders gone. Rookie prospect tight end. See what Logan wants to do here. Sandwiched. He goes Ray Davis. Pounder. The pounder pick. 100%. 100% pounder click right there. What do we want to do in this range? We're bringing in Gibson. Like, this dude's good for 40 catches no matter where he goes. So seems like a pretty good floor type pick with potential ceiling. What a gross range. This would be if we expect Antonio Gibson to move on from Washington, and then we have the RB2 in Washington. Let's bring in Elijah Moore. Let's bring in Elijah Moore. We get him 14 picks after ADP. We get him 14 picks after ADP. I have to mix in different people. That one felt good. That was the right play. Whether I like him or not this year. I'm more so worried about like Deshaun Watson just looking exactly like he did the last 2 seasons. Yes, we are including the season where he returned from suspension like week 11 or 12. He looked like crap, expected. But then he comes back after full preseason, summer with the team, training camp. He looked like shit again. And then Joe Flacco looked like and scored as a top 3 QB points per game. Wild. Okay. All right. We got clarification. Wandale, dog. Douglas, dog. Oh, man. Yeah, Davis is catching big steam. Now, he's a player that if you watch his tape, it's easy to love. He really is easy to fall in love with. You watch the way he plays the game, you could see a team picking him up and him going relatively earlier than expected. That's all I'm saying. He's so old. Like, he's super old, which is usually more of a warning sign for receivers entering the NFL. It's not as much weighted for running backs, but he's like, is he like 24 years old, Ray Davis? Like, this dude's a man playing against boys. But he's got a little wiggle to him. He's got some shake and bake. I'd love to see, like, Ray Davis, like, dream landing spot would be the Chargers. Like, a younger, less skilled Eckler in a team that needs a running back. Conklin off the board at 193 to pair with Kelsey. Like, yeah, I'm going Conklin over Kraft there. And then, like, after Conklin's off the board, if you want to, like, mix in Kraft, like, sort of, like, have at it. I'm not going to have much Kraft. I'd probably rather take Jordan as a backup tight end with the uncertainty that Schultz may not return to Houston. He could, but at least you have that path to success for this pick. I don't know. The Kraft one's tough for me. Remember the Cole Turner steam last year? Jelani Woods spent the whole season on the IR. I could see him getting steamed up if he comes back and he's relatively healthy for training camp. Or Indy touches at the position in free agency or the draft. Yeah, RB age can matter for draft capital, but the type of player he is too. I don't know. He's fun to watch. Harbaugh gonna take Quorum. I love the projections. Jelani Woods. He was a big best ball guy last year, like 20th round. People were selecting a lot of Jelani. All right, we're up. We need RBs and we need wide receivers. Tyler Boyd feels like he feels like a floor click right now. Let's go Burton first. And let's go Izzy. Pretend like you didn't see any of those other clicks. Thank you. Do the little Men in Black thing. You didn't see shit. Yeah, so you wanted Zeke Elliott. Great. Yeah, we are going to have a luxury pick here. Like, I already feel like we have a full squad. We can definitely bring in a tight end. Are we good at receiver? DJ Moore, Smith, Pickens, Coleman, Gabe Davis, Wandale Robinson, Elijah Moore, Jermaine Burton. Like, we have ceiling, floor, speculative picks, that's for sure. Gabe Davis. Running backs, Gibbs, Connor, Miller, Algier. Like, I could see us needing another RB. So this can be RB tight end or RB wide receiver. It's just who's going to be left? Who's going to be left? I think we're going to be looking at like this. I've been coming around to the Mooney click in the last round too. I don't know if I'm just going to be a Mooney stan, I guess. I don't know. If they get an upgraded QB and if he stays, I'm going to be a Mooney stan. I'm going to be a Mooney stan. I already have a lot of Mooney right now, though. Good shout. Buffalo's drafting one of these dudes. Tyler Boyd doesn't get any respect. Yeah. Dude is consistent. Consistently putting up 4 for 46. I don't know. If we had a ton of rookies and I needed a floor, I think it's fine to bring in Tyler Boyd here. But at this point, I'm probably just looking for ceiling with the amount of receivers we have. And I don't know. I guess we already we have a good mix. We have a good mix. Whoa. Schultz, Henry, or Fant to Cincy, please. Yeah. Fant, I hated the last couple seasons in Seattle just because of the usage. The 3 tight end usage is just gross. Now as a free agent, he's never really produced, though. He's never really produced. Where was he drafted? He was drafted by Denver. He had a couple pretty good seasons in Denver, 40, 50 catches, I think. And then he goes to Seattle and they split their tight end usage like between 3 guys, like relatively evenly. Like, let me pull it's maddening. So I had next to no Fant because his ceiling was low. And then you saw even the year before that, it was Colby Parkinson that gets hurt. And you're like, oh shit, like Fant's going to be a league winner. Like Colby goes down. No, they split time with Disley like 50-50. So he's just always sort of been restricted, in my opinion. There are some good landing spots for teams that need tight ends. There's also some bad spots like Indy. So I don't mind the Fant click. Again, we're talking about 19th, 20th round. If there's some positive speculation of where he can land, I don't think it's a bad click. That's the same thing with Brevin Jordan, too. I don't think those are bad clicks. We need an RB, guys. Who's your favorite RB in this range? Clyde. Free agent Clyde? and then we have the rooks. Who's your favorite click? There goes one of mine. Fant gone. You guys do your research. Let's go. Oh, Shipley. I think Shipley's gone, no? Shipley should be gone. Damn, the Jordan click. Yeah, Shipley's gone. All right, we'll bring in Cody here, and then I'm cool with this wide receiver group. I think we go tight end. Everett's a million years old. If Everett leaves, Parham probably still doesn't do anything, huh? I don't mind the Knox click, but the dude can't stay healthy. Dwayne McBride, what a shout. Let's bring in Tanner Hudson here at the end. Live a little bit. Live a little bit. We're not going Knox. Let's live a little bit. All right, we'll pull up everyone's draft. Glad it at least ended up with a different type team. It's going to be naked, most likely naked Fields, unless he ends up somehow staying in Chicago. I don't see that path. I just don't see that path happening. Gibbs, DJ Moore, Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, George Pickens, Dalton Kincaid, Justin Fields, James Conner, Coleman, Goddard. I really think we hit the value pockets. I think we did the best we could with what we were given in the 12 spot. Coleman, Goddard, Kendre, Gabe Davis, Wandale, Tyler Algier, Antonio Gibson, Elijah Moore, Jermaine Burton, Israel Abanikanda, Cody, and Tanner. How many wide receivers did this team end up with? I got rich. He ends up with 9. Yeah, he needed 9 at least. Probably 10, to be honest. Goes 4 rookies. Yeah. You go these 2 tight ends this early, especially reaching, you can't afford to go a third. I'm fine with the running backs. The QBs are fine. For what it's worth, like, he should be going a 10th receiver. And, like, where Tyler Boyd went, he should be bringing in a player like Tyler Boyd with that type of team. Ton of rookies, like, you need someone that's just gonna consistently get you 6 points. Let's see. Where was that mistake made? Where's Boyd? Someone find Boyd. Eyes, ears, something work. Wow! He really went that late? Holy, let me pull that up again. What? Dude, Tyler Boyd went at 239? Oh my god. Oh my god. Honestly, that's wild. That's wild. Tyler Boyd is like the perfect click for this team. Okay, let's go over some of the Pounders drafts. Frank in the 1 spot, 3-6-7-4 build, fun. Purdy, Mayfield, and May with tight ends Kelsey, Conklin, Gray, and Ben Sinnott. After bringing in Kelsey, yeah, you kind of get boxed, I guess, a little bit at tight end. Noah Gray is interesting, right? Because the Noah Gray click, I feel like in order for that to hit, you need Kelsey to retire, which is a bet against your own team. So I'm not pairing these two too much. But Kelsey and Conklin, I think, are fine. And then bringing in the rookies, cool. CMC, Rashad White, Ramondre Stevenson, Rashawn Johnson, Lloyd, and Wright. I like the RBs. Diggs, Adams, Godwin, Cortland Sutton, Jahan Dotson, Devontae Walker, and Trey Palmer. It's a fun one. It's a fun one. Let's see Jared's in the 4 spot, 3-6-9-2 with Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Derek Carr at QB. Tight ends McBride and Musgrave. RBs Saquon Barkley, Mostert, Zach Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell, Tank, and CEH. I like the RBs. He gets Barkley at 28. That's probably the range where I would start to consider him. Man, I'm not going to have a lot of Barkley this year. I'd go Barkley probably over Tank Dell, but I like Pittman. I don't love Olave this season, but I like DK. Olave's right there. We'll see. There's some unknown with Barkley, but brings in his first RB. I like the room largely as a whole. Wide receivers: Chase, Debo, Reed, Kirk, Jameson Williams, Brendan Cooks, Douglas, A.T. Perry, and Jalen Hyatt. So a nice little cheap stack with Derek Carr with A.T. Perry at the end there. Nice. I like that. Bez G in the 7 spot, Josh Allen and Geno Smith. Njoku, Henry, and Bell. Nice little balance here so far. Brees Hall, Jalen Warren, Chase Brown, Zamir White, Jaleel, and Will Shipley. Maybe a little light on RB, but if one of these two guys can hit, maybe both, if you get lucky with both, yeah, you're on your way. And I like the Jaleel click in this range too, especially if P. Ryan moves on. Could be splitting carries with Javante. Wide receivers: DK, Zay Flowers, Terry McLaurin, JSN brings in all the rookies. It could work, to be honest. This is the year where it really does feel like we need some turnover at the position. You still have players like Julio Jones being like the third best option on a team. Like that probably shouldn't be a thing. Steph says she has 0 Barkley. Yeah, he doesn't get to a point in the draft where I'm like, okay, if Barkley feels good here. He's always getting selected before that. So, all right. On to the next one. We had Logan in the 11th spot. Let's see if he gets a little spoon luck. 2783. CJ Stroud at 59. 8 picks after ADP. Caleb, Brock Bowers, Chiggy, and Brevin Jordan. Oh, wow. You had to go Brevin Jordan there. Sweet click, especially with Stroud. RBs: Achane, Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson Jr. I like these 3 RBs. Joe Mixon, I'm not as high on in that range, but he's starting to fall to a point where he's starting to make sense. Um, yeah, it's so Tony Pollard's off the board. It's between James Conner, who you're guaranteed to miss 4 to 5 games. We'll see. Khalil Herbert, Ray Davis, Chris Rodriguez. I like the RB room. Wide receivers: Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, Drake London, Troy Franklin, Mitchell, Michael Wilson, Samuel, and Malik Washington. This is a Pounders draft. This is fun. Chiggy, man, I might be giving up on the Chig click this season. Just the amount of pain. From analysts saying advanced metric this, advanced metric that, Chig's going to be, explosive and all is just the take. They hurt us. Bad. Luckily, he was in the 150s. Yeah, don't do Chig. He sucks. Yeah. Logan drafts him. He says it's a pain click. It's one of those that you're like, man, I'm getting him so late and I still don't love it. That's like the Palmer click for me, like Joshua Palmer. He's like 140, 150. I had Herbert and it still just felt wrong. Felt dirty. But if you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream, if we hit 50 likes on this video, we are going to be back live tomorrow night, same time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern for episode 7 of The Big Board. Everyone, slap the like on the way out. Have a good night. Pounders.